Well, good afternoon to everybody. It's my pleasure to be here today with you all. And I was carefully listening to the previous presentation where we're talking about technology actually on travel, and I was thinking Robert did probably half of my presentation already, the way you have described consumers or users. So I'm going to build on top of that. So I'm here today to share with all of you a little bit about innovation and actually what can we see in the next 10 years to come here in Asia. I'm sure you all have seen many different numbers about Asia. Interestingly enough, I used to be the CEO in Microsoft Latin America, so I was listening carefully there your question about how Asia is looking to Latin America. And I spent my last 2 years plus in Latin America, where you have a lot of emerging markets. In some of the documentation that I've seen in this summit, you can see actually this slide, where you see a 6.5% GDP growth in 2012 in Asian markets without Japan, compared to markets like Latin America, which is a 3.5%, or you kind of think about Europe declining. So it's clear that this region is having a great momentum in terms of growth. I was reviewing a report from Citibank talking about global economy, and the report they were talking about 2050. 2050 having 3 out of the 4 largest economies in the world from Asia. Number 1, China. By 2020, they will outpace the United States. India, by 2032, will outpace the United States. Now, interestingly enough, the 4th largest one will be Indonesia by 2050. So very interesting momentum. And one of the things that is really exciting is that I think we all are going to be having a very active role in the next years to come in this turnaround in terms of the economy. And we all have seen how, the developed market economy has been moving towards this part of the world, kind of emerging market economy in Asia. So very, very good opportunity for all of us to make an impact, not just in our region, but in the world. Now, one of the key things is how technology is playing a key role, or will play a key role as an enabler and a key contributor in the overall economy. I had the pleasure last week to be in the APEC CEO Summit in Bali, where we had several different discussions, but I would like to share with you some of the ones that we had. Boston Consulting Group shared a commission study they've been doing in different parts of the world, where they have interviewed more than 4,000 small business, actually small and medium business, discussing how technology were helping them or not helping them in their business. Some of the key outcomes was that they were differentiating between companies or small business that were not really using technology, the ones that are using average technology, or the ones that were technology leaders. And kind of the way you were defining technology leaders were around different of the mega trends that I'm going to be talking about today. Key outcomes, those that were using technology in a more active way were basically able to grow their revenue 15 points more than the ones not using it. They were able to do 10 more times international business than the ones that were not using it. And of course, they were generating twice or even 4 more times employment than the ones not using it. So I think the key thing for us, in this case as Microsoft bringing innovation, is how can we help? How can we ensure that we enable businesses and people around the globe to really realize their full potential? We gotta go and think about the different technology trends impacting our business. Cloud computing, globalization happening, you talk about social, you talk about many different things that are really impacting the way we interact and we do business. So what is our real response? What are we really doing and what we should be looking at? You kind of think about the modern computing. I want to try to talk about this modern computing and talk about 4 big items. One of them, multi-device. I think we all are kind of thinking, probably each of us have here a smartphone. So, most likely all of us have PC, a laptop. And many of us might have a tablet. All this multi-device world is really changing. And basically, what we're looking at is, what is all this multi-device doing for us? Who am I? Am I the president of Microsoft APAC? Am I, a father of 2 kids? Am I tomorrow a tennis player or a golf player? Or am I, a person sitting on the TV, watching TV? How all those devices will interconnect and how will they recognize the persona itself? Very interesting dialogue that we're having. And how do we interact with those different devices? Social. That's a real thing happening today. How we're using all this big data happening on the social media. We are sharing, we're tweeting. I was early this morning in a TV interview talking about the different trends and what was happening. I'm Spanish, my family is from Spain. I use Skype as a social, if you wish, to kind of have called my mother, which is based there. I haven't managed yet to have it with my grandmother, which is 93. But time to time, somebody in the family comes and show me that, and I say, is that my grandson? I see him, right? Life has changed for all of us, and how do we interact and use a different technology? Connected. There's discussion right now happening, in the previous panel where they were talking about, hey, using Wi-Fi, using the computer, even when you're flying or traveling. You want to be connected. You want to get access to all the information from everywhere, no matter which type of device. Or natural. What does natural mean? Well, the reality is we all have seen the last years how we were interacting with computers. Keyboard, mouse. Now all of us, hey, I want to use touch. I want to touch, move. But the reality, that's just the beginning. Voice recognition, body recognition. You want to have a much more natural way to interact with technology. And many of these things actually is not, the future. It's today. And today, you are able to have different experiences when you think about multi-device. I was discussing with the team when I was coming here, saying, I think we need to share as well, not just the future, but some of the things that we've been investing in terms of innovation inside Microsoft and other companies as well, on what is available out there. So I don't know how many of you have heard about a smart glass. Xbox Smart Glass technology that Microsoft is providing today. You can download that app, and basically you can use your Windows 8, phone, laptop, PC, integrate that with other devices, use it as a control remote of your TV, and start interacting, start watching a movie on your tablet, and then finish it in your TV, for example. Great way to interact between the different devices in a very seamless way. When you think about Bing, search, we're talking before about people searching information. Think about the following. There's a research that tells us that 80% of the people, 90% of the people, in order to make a decision about traveling, will talk to a friend. So imagine that I go and search, and this is available today in Bing. I go and search and say, I want to go to Booking, or I want to go to whatever place, Koh Samui, or whatever place you want. And I go and Bing that, and I find the information. But here's the interesting thing. I find the information, but, my social network with Bing will be able to link all the people that I have in my network that have made any comment on that hotel or that place. Hey, I was there and it's great. And as I know that person, I say, oh good, have you been there? And I ping the person. So I'm really linking the social with myself, with my persona. Another thing is connected. One of the most important things when you think about being connected is, where's the information? So you think about SkyDrive, you basically are able to go and have your pictures, your music, your documents, whatever type of information in the cloud. And you're going to go and access all that information either through your smartphone, through your tablet, through your PC. That's why connected is so important and critical. I was talking before about the natural user interface, which is basically things are changing. And today, we have voice recognition. Today, we have body recognition. I'm sure that many of you have seen Kinect, right? And probably when we think about Kinect Xbox, you're thinking about the gaming and how I interact in the games. The reality is, it's way more than gaming. I can come and say, Xbox, please play me this show in TV. I can come and start doing some movements through the Kinect technology. For example, for retailers, I can come and say, I don't need to go to that store. I can go and try that bag. So let me kind of put here my bag, and the screen will be kind of looking how this bag is here, or this type of dress or whatever thing, right, or this time. So I like it, let me go and buy it. So the way we're interacting with technology definitely is different. I'm going to take 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes to show you a video. I think it's a good way also to see what is coming, what type of technology we should be thinking about. Some of this kind of thinking out of the box, innovation, but I think it's a good way to think a little bit what's coming in the next years.
Uw aandacht alsjeblieft. Welcome to Johannesburg International Airport. Please approach the road to create your pickup zone.
sense a little bit of, some of the things that, we might think, is this really coming? Is this now? Is this tomorrow? But what is what we have really seen? Let me going to try to summarize it in the following way. Computing everywhere. How are we going to interact with technology? It's going to be way more discrete than it is today. We're going to interact in different ways that we're doing now. It's not just kind of through this smartphone or this tablet, but actually we need to have a much more interactive way with technology in the many different ways that we're seeing today. Second thing that we have seen is context really matters. So I think that you saw the lady landing in Johannesburg airport, and basically the smartphone, technology around her have found out that she is in a new place. So Bing Translator basically translates some of the different messages, and on her way to the hotel, because she has her calendar in her smartphone, knows that goes to this hotel, it's a 50 minutes away, so the hotel gets that she's coming. Can you imagine the type of service that you can provide, the differentiation that you will generate? So the context really matters. And working on our behalf. I was seeing the other day a demo, around, me coming and saying to my calendar, free me up tomorrow. I'm taking the day off. I'm going to prioritize my meetings, please. And the system automatically will be able to go and understand how important some of those meetings are, based on the color coding that I have seen, based on the intelligence of the past. Probably the meeting that I have with my manager will be prioritized number 1 or not. Depends on my past experiences on the system. But basically, how we're going to interact with technology definitely is changing and will change. Now, you're going to think, how we're going to get there? We are here, we've seen some today. How we're going to really get there? I think all of us agree that technology is impacting our business. One of the most important things for me is, as we think about the future and our companies, this is not about impacting, it's how can we get technology to enable us to be more competitive, to enable us to faster and foster our growth opportunities. And that's why, it's important that we share with you our approach to innovation. What is really Microsoft doing in this case, and not just Microsoft, other companies around innovation. This is an approach that we have, this is our vision around innovation, and I will kind of summarize in 4 big mega points for us. Probably you have read, all of you, we are the company that invested the most on R&D, with more than $10 billion per year in R&D, which is a huge investment, Now, how do we approach that investment? First, of course, we want to have a balance between invention, innovation, and of course as well evolution. One of the things that you want to make sure is that the investments that you have done for your companies, suddenly it's not, okay, let's start from scratch. You want to make sure that those investments are protected and you involved and you have the latest. So that evolution is critical. Second thing, we have great projects that we call them, fail and learn. There's a lot of R&D going on, which we try many different things. We fail and we learn. And many others, we bring them out to the market. And there's others that what we do is getting great ideas, customer ideas, projects where we learn, and bring that to the technology. The second piece of our strategy is how open we are. An example, only in this part of the world, in Asia Pacific, without actually China, India, and Japan, to be very precise, we have more than 100,000 partners that we work with every year. That they represent us in countries like, Sri Lanka, or in countries like, Singapore, or in Thailand, or Indonesia. We really look at long-term approach. It's kind of interesting because when you think about IT and you think about innovation, yesterday I was having an interview, somebody asked me, can you define long-term? What is really long-term? Maybe if you're in industry X, long-term is 20 years. I just shared by 2050, the economy, probably that's long-term. In IT, many times long-term is in the next 2 or 3 years, maybe 5 years. Then somebody was asking me, saying, how do you envision technology in the long term? I said, define me long term. Now, if you're going to think about Kinet, we came years ago with that investment, thinking about our position, not just in a game console like Xbox, but how would that involve in a full entertainment system? And then we focus on breadth and scale. What that means? We're a global company with local presence. So one of the things that we feel most proud about is opening and having innovation centers in countries, so we can make sure that we get the best of all those learnings in countries. So with that, one of the things that I encourage all of us to think on, and this is something that I use a lot internal with our people, and as you run or own your companies or your businesses, is if you can dream on it, you can build it, right? And that's one of the areas that we have it inside Microsoft. But as you think about your businesses moving forward, one of the things that I would really encourage you to think about is technology cannot be a blocker. And many times you have heard your teams or yourself saying, I would love to do this, but my system is not allowing me to do it. So it's very important that you have flexible environments. And as we move as a company into a devices and services company, one of our big goals is be able to dream and make sure that we build it. So with that, I know that everybody is looking for lunch. I want to thank you all for your time, and I hope that you have a great summit today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.